Hey guys, welcome back to Ace Recaps. Buckle up, because today we're diving into the 2020 Russian sci-fi thriller Superdeep. Picture this, the deepest borehole on Earth, a mysterious illness, and a whole lot of mold. Sounds like a recipe for disaster, right? An epidemiologist named Anna Fedorova faces a terrible tragedy in 1984 when her study associate loses his life in a disastrous vaccine experiment gone wrong. Anna wants to halt the study, feeling immense guilt over approving human trials without prior animal testing. However, Colonel Yuri Morozov stops her, arguing that abandoning the mission now would render her friend's sacrifice meaningless. He emphasizes that the soldiers in Africa desperately need her help. A few months later, Anna receives appreciation for her swift work on a vaccination during a New Year's Eve gathering with loved ones. Before they can finish their joyous dinner, Morozov summons Anna for a special mission. Of course, because emergencies always have perfect timing. Odd noises and missing personnel at the Kola Superdeep Borehole station lead to its shutdown, and it is supposed to be sealed within 24 hours. Wow, this sounds like the perfect vacation spot. Anna's involvement is necessary as the head of research allegedly concealed information about an unidentified illness. Anna agrees, enticed by Morozov's promise of full credit for the findings. The next morning, Anna, Morozov, and a group of soldiers under Major Sergei and his right-hand man, Egorov, arrive at the station. Their first challenge arises when a scientist escapes the station with a grenade, detonating it near the chopper upon reaching it. Well, that's one way to make an entrance. Though a momentary buzzing sound fills their ears, fortunately, no one is harmed. Anna swiftly checks the scientist's body to collect a sample and tries to identify its origin, while Sergei mocks her accent. As soon as Anna closes the test tube lid, the sample crumbles to dust, revealing an odd red glow emanating from the body. One of the station's guards reveals that the scientist had mysteriously gone insane upon reaching the surface, exhibiting such strength that even 3 soldiers could not stop him. Who knew insanity came with superpowers? Anna continues collecting samples from the remaining employees as they prepare for evacuation. One man urges Anna to return home, claiming the disease is a hoax and that everyone is already dead down there. A hoax? Really? That's the best they've got? All the miners seem well, but the one with the scar appears visibly scared, making Anna suspect more is happening than just a simple illness. Wow, Anna. Sharp as a tack. Anna, Morozov, and the troops then arrive at the station, followed by Dr. Grigoriev and Chief Scientist Dr. Pyotr. When Anna tries to inquire about the unidentified sickness, Grigoriev refuses to talk, believing they are up to something. He promises to help only as far as obtaining their sample and ensuring the survivors' safe evacuation. When Anna asks why the survivors have been imprisoned, Grigoriev provides no explanation. As a safety precaution, Grigoriev has to be careful entering the access code, as 3 wrong entries will cause the elevator to crash. Luckily, Grigoriev enters the correct code on the 3rd attempt, and the group begins their descent into the world's deepest artificial sinkhole. 3rd time's the charm. Or maybe just pure luck. However, when they reach their floor, the brakes fail, forcing Grigoriev to depressurize the elevator and put on an oxygen mask, knocking out the rest of the group. Who designed this elevator? A sadist. Moments later, as they regain consciousness, Grigoriev has vanished, taking the elevator key with him. They are in the resort portion of the facility, where workers usually spend most of their time. A second elevator leads to the much deeper main research level, which they cannot access without the key. Well, this is just conveniently inconvenient. Only 2 employees remain in this once bustling area, Dr. Kira and engineer Nikolai, who were abandoned after the first evacuation. Kira takes them to the laboratory so Anna can collect samples from both of them and examine them under a microscope to ensure none are contaminated. It becomes clear that Grigoriev has intentionally left them unaccompanied on the resort floor, as they would have to look elsewhere for the source of the illness. Playing hide and seek with diseases is sure fun. A while later, Grigoriev approaches Anna and urges her to take the team back to the surface through the shafts, prioritizing their safety while they still can. Anna calls for help, but before the soldiers can apprehend Grigoriev, he flees through the elevator, leaving only a bloody mark on the door. They decide to send a troop of men, led by Egorov, into the shaft, which Grigoriev has sealed, requiring them to pry it open. As the soldiers wear protective suits to withstand the intense heat of the lower levels, the shaft doors suddenly open by themselves, revealing lab assistant Olga, who appears sick after traversing the heat to reach them. After rescuing Olga, the soldiers descend the shaft and take her to the lab. Anna questions Olga before beginning the examination, but she cannot recall what has happened below, she only feels cold. Upon removing Olga's gown, Anna notices something unsettling. Olga's back is covered with disgusting growths resembling mildew. Despite Anna making an incision to take a sample, Olga insists the growths are harmless. Harmless mildew? Sure Olga, sure. The soldiers claim to have witnessed some form of life on the lower level, while Anna uses a microscope to examine the sample, finding it to be a highly malicious mold parasite. Since molds and fungi are among the least researched organisms, Morozov decides to end the experiment and begin their return, as he is unfamiliar with this specific strain. To initiate the elevator's return, which will take over an hour, Nikolai starts working on the system. Sergei tries contacting his crew again, but they seem to be in a foul mood, not answering their walkie-talkies as if afraid of something. Just then, Grigoriev speaks to them over the speakers, informing them that although he had hoped they would escape via the shafts, he is now forced to trap them inside the facility. As Grigoriev begs for forgiveness, he sets off a bomb to seal them inside. The ensuing explosion makes Anna feel guilty about the vaccine again, as the entire place shakes violently. Nothing like a little explosion to jog your guilt. Olga's body starts to glow in the lab, and over time, she loses control, shatters the glass and attacks Kira. In the meantime, Nikolai discovers that within an hour, the facility has become unstable and is on the verge of collapsing due to the explosion's damage. Sergei punches Nikolai in response after he states his desire to find an escape route, showing no concern for the soldiers trapped in the lower levels. However, Morozov agrees that attempting to rescue those soldiers would be too dangerous, and they will escape through the shafts. When Anna and Sergei go to the lab to get Olga, they are met with an ugly sight. All of the space is coated in mold, and Olga is still alive but is partially melted into the floor. Looks like just another day at the office. Morozov ignores Anna's lack of protective equipment amidst the contamination and gives her the go-ahead to gather samples. Safety first, but not really. As Anna and Sergei approach, Olga begins releasing a cloud of spores, forcing Sergei to flee the room while Anna retreats and puts on a mask to protect herself. While doing so, Anna witnesses Kira, who has contracted the same disease as Olga and undergone a mutation, seeing her brutal demise as her bones abruptly sprout from her body. When Anna tries to escape the room, she stumbles and fortunately comes across a fire extinguisher. She then clears the air around herself with the fire extinguisher so she can open the door without allowing the mold to spread to the other areas. She shuts the door once more and asks Nikolai to clean her body with the fire extinguisher. The hero we didn't know we needed, a fire extinguisher. Later, Anna goes to check on Sergei, but it is too late. He has already contracted the infection and lost his vision. Just when you thought things couldn't get any worse. When Kira informs everyone of what has happened to her, Pyotr clarifies that it is nothing supernatural, but rather that this unknown mold functions like a fungus that overtakes an ant and forces it to return to its nest, where it releases spores that spread throughout the colony. Nature's way of saying, "I told you so." Anna privately informs Morozov of her discovery. The mold, susceptible to freezing temperatures, has been utilizing human corpses to survive in the permafrost of the higher region. This mold has more survival skills than I do. She suggests staying behind with Sergei to search for any remaining survivors while Morozov returns to the surface to summon help. However, he curtly states that no help will arrive because the facility will close in 5 hours. Morozov orders everyone to prepare to leave, but then they receive a message from Egorov, instructing them not to open the door, not even for his squad. After a prolonged debate, Pyotr reaffirms that opening the door is their only chance for survival. Initially, they send 3 soldiers down the shaft to investigate, but 2 of them soon return after firing at a massive, indistinguishable entity that attempts to harm them. Before the squad can secure the door, the 3rd soldier returns as well, this time missing an arm, and takes his own life with a knife. Now aware of its presence, whatever lurks in the shaft repeatedly slams the door, trying to break through. After making their way to the back of the area, the group discovers that the elevator has finally arrived. Hoping the emergency brakes will hold, Nikolai begins figuring out how to lower the elevator. As his body starts to glow, Sergei realizes his time is running out and decides to stay behind with his troops, attempting to stop the mysterious monster that has finally broken through the doors from advancing further. Bracing themselves, Anna, Nikolai, Pyotr, and Morozov enter the descending elevator. Anna has to get up and manually apply the brake as the intense pressure makes it difficult for Nikolai to reach it. Thanks to her timely action, the elevator lands safely on the lowest floor, which is colder than expected. Frost covers every room, and a scientist's recording reveals he has also found the mold is sensitive to low temperatures, speculating that the Ice Age had held it underground for eons. The expert warns that since the mold has already learned to melt people together for warmth and power, it will soon recognize that the permafrost has an end and could potentially escape. This explains why they find no survivors. They are trapped in a massive mound of melting mold that has frozen solid due to the extreme cold. Donning the last suit, Morozov ventures into the 200-degree atmosphere, trying to persuade Grigoriev to return the elevator key. Anna begs Nikolai and Pyotr not to tell anyone about the mold when they reach the surface, as that would encourage further investigation and endanger humanity while they wait for Morozov's return. Pyotr is hesitant, hoping to be recognized for this significant discovery, but Nikolai agrees. When Morozov fails to return, Anna decides to enter the searing area unprotected since the human body can theoretically survive there for a few minutes. Blisters appear on Anna's body as she discovers Morozov's lifeless form on the ground, realizing that his suit was damaged. Seeing the mold's unsettling glow on the walls, Anna swiftly grabs the elevator key from Morozov's grasp and retreats. In an attempt to gain the recognition he feels he deserves, Pyotr unexpectedly shoots Nikolai in the leg and demands the elevator key at gunpoint. And the betrayal we all saw coming finally arrives. Upon reaching the resort level again, Pyotr tries to evade Anna by heading to the first elevator corridor to board the elevator alone. However, Pyotr is suddenly attacked by the strange entity from the shaft, a repulsive being formed from melted, 6 staff members fused into one hideous organism. Despite their agonizing cries, the beast slays Pyotr. Anna flees and hides in the mess hall, but the beast pursues her. Fearing for her life, Anna grabs a knife and retreats into the freezer. There, she has an idea. She removes most of her clothing and douses herself with ice water to lower her body temperature to a level where the mold cannot detect her. Then she crawls beneath the beast and retrieves the elevator key from Pyotr's absorbed remains. This is clearly not your average game of hide and seek. Anna hurries out of the mess hall, locking the doors behind her, and goes to find Nikolai so they can escape together. The two narrowly manage to reach the elevator and shut the doors in time to prevent the entity from breaking through the wall and finding them. As the elevator begins ascending, Nikolai and Anna face one last surprise. Sergei is also there, melting into the ground and coughing out spores while pleading for help. Reluctant to risk releasing the mold outside, Anna stops the elevator. However, in a desperate bid for survival, Nikolai restarts it against her wishes. As Nikolai prepares to kill Anna, Sergei musters his remaining strength to raise his arm, using the exposed bone to strike Nikolai first, killing him. Talk about a bone-crushing finale. Anna thanks Sergei, revealing she is from Yugoslavia, kisses him, and turns back to the elevator controls. Anna begins punching in codes, remembering that entering the wrong one 3 times will result in a crash. The first 2 attempts go slowly but successfully. This task becomes increasingly difficult as the mold infection causes her body to glow and weaken from agony. The elevator reaches the surface as she enters a false code for the 3rd attempt, forcing her to battle the rescuer's grip to input the final digits. The elevator begins self-destructing and plummets back down. Anna is then taken in a van with a new squad. Taking advantage of the troops surrounding her, Anna steals a grenade and exits the van as soon as it leaves the facility premises. Seeing more scientists approaching, she detonates the grenade, sacrificing herself to save humanity. Well, that was one heck of a moldy adventure. I don't know about you, but I'm ready for a long vacation far away from any deep boreholes or spore-spreading fungi. Maybe a nice beach where the only thing growing is my tan. If you enjoyed this recap, hit that like button, share with your friends, and subscribe for more. Until next time, stay moldy my friends.